Okay. Hmm. Now let's go over to next how to make money during a stock market crash. Okay, let's look at this. A crash creates buying opportunities if you can develop the right mindset. Hmm. Nobody knows when a stock has hit bottom. People can speculate, and every analyst hoping for a little bit of television fame most certainly will. But no person, no matter how many past predictions they claim to have gotten right, knows when the stock or the market has fallen as low as it will go. And while it's tempting as an investor to wait for better prices, that's a dangerous game to play. Yes, you might get a better price by waiting, but you also may find yourself waiting too long and missing an opportunity. Um, Down markets, bear markets, market crashes, whatever you want to call them, follow no rules. Market correction takes overhyped companies that have under delivered down in value, while also dragging down shares of strong companies which have performed well. As a long-term investor, your job isn't figuring out where the bottom is. Instead, it's sorting out the companies that have a bright long-term future, where today's price will hardly matter, from companies that saw their share prices drop because they don't have sound business fundamentals. That's not always easy to identify when you consider some examples. Is Netflix a long-term market leader or a company with a huge spending problem it may never be able to correct? There are investors and analysts who feel both ways on any of the question above. But the best thing about investing is that you only have to put your money in stocks where you have deep convictions. Mm. What is a long-term investor? Long-term investors consider down market as an opportunity to add to their portfolios. Before you can think about doing that, you have to think about what it means to be a long-term investor. A long-term investor buys shares in companies they intend to hold for years, essentially forever. Usually, a long-term investor has an investing thesis, a reason why they want to own the stock. That thesis should give the long-term investor faith in that stock even when the company's share price drops. Basically, a long-term investor checks in on their holding to make sure the company has not made a change that causes it to diverge from their thesis. For example, did the CEO change and the new leader made a major change to how the company operates? Or did something huge happen in the market that causes you to change how you see the company's prospects? Long-term investors understand that many companies, Amazon being the most famous example, don't manage to deliver quarterly results. Instead, their leaders make the best decisions for a company to seize over decades, not quarters. That's why Amazon has been willing to have money losing quarters where it invests in the infrastructure it needs for long-term success. Mm. Down markets moves like that can send the company share price down, but it's hard to argue that Amazon are wrong to view their business as a long-term enterprise, not a quarterly exercise releasing press releases. A down market to bear market and stock market crashes put good companies on sale. If you have a company you believe in, you can buy shares fully believing you are making the right choice for your future, even if the bear market continues and stock goes down. Long term means years, sometimes decades, and a share price problem because the market conditions or macroeconomic conditions allows you to buy shares and do what's known as a dollar cost average. That's where instead of waiting for the best price, you buy shares as funds at auto, averaging the price you have paid to own stock in the company. A falling market actually allows you to lower the average cost per share of your best holdings if the share price has fallen below what you. Mm. Wells Fargo. Here's the best asset to own when inflation strikes. Wells Fargo. Combine two investing styles to earn 29% per year from 1977 to 1990. Here's how you can apply the same market. Trouncing technique today. Opportunity cost. Focusing on secular growth. Valuation cushion. Hot, but it's not too late to buy. Six to consider. 2 years ago, all companies were global Paris, banished not only from the high mounted peaks of Davos, but also from low index ones. Energy weight in the S&P 500 fell below 2%, an astonishing drop for a sector that once accounted for more than 20% of the index's market value. ExxonMobil was briefly worth less than Zoom Video Communications. The turnaround since then has been just as astonishing, if not more so. Axon just hit a new all-time high and is now worth more than 10 times as much as Zoom. Strong insider buying supports the bullish thesis for two stocks. PacWest Bancorp. Concert performance. Let's take a sharp turn away from the banking sector for our next stock. Elon Musk recommended investing fiscal thing. Here are three fiscal assets that perform well during high inflation. Real estate. Finance. Wine. Well, most referenced owning a home, real estate in general, performs well for investors during years of high inflation, specifically single-family homes, multifamily, self-storage, and farmland. Running out to buy a property may not be the most feasible option for most investors right now, but luckily there are options available to buy shares of fractionalized real estate. Why the stock markets are falling so hard. This past week was another brutal one for the markets. Investors had plenty to worry about, from the Fed to inflation and retail sales. The Dow Jones Industrial Average lost 4.6% last week. It's fallen 10 of the past 11 weeks and suffered its largest 2 week percentage decline since the end of October 2020. Mm. Five-time investors profited from the financial crisis. Although the recommendation to buy when there's a blood in the streets has been attributed to more than one rich businessman, the crisis, 2008-2009 financial crisis saw markets fall, erasing trillions of dollars of wealth around the world. Some investors recognize a unique buying opportunity with many company shares for sale at deep discounts. With markets recovering from the Great Recession, these investors have realized tremendous gains from their assertive maneuvers. Okay, the bottom line, keeping one's perspective during a time of crisis is a key differentiating factor. Keeping one's perspective during a time of crisis is a key differentiating factor for the investors noted above. Another common thread is having close connections to a range of power, as most of these men maintained close relationships to the elected and appointed government officials and agencies that doled out trillions of dollars to benefit of many large investors over their careers, and especially during this period. The likes of JP Morgan and the Fed are certainly large and powerful institutions that individual investors can't hope to copy in their own portfolios, but both offer lessons on how to take advantage of the market when it is in panic. When more normalized conditions return, savvy investors can be left with seizable gains, and those that are able to repeat their earlier successes in subsequent downturns end up rich. Mm. Two strong buy stocks trading at rock bottom prices. C-Spine Holdings. The first look stock we'll look at is C-Spine Holdings, a medical technology company focusing on the treatment of injuries and disorders of the spine. Mm. And next one is Organothesis Holdings. For the second stock on our list, will stick with the medical technology sector. Uh, how bear markets trick gullible investors. The majority of the biggest daily jumps occur during bear markets. Bear markets like to trick you into thinking they have come to an end. They do that by mounting explosive one day rallies. Those jumps, more often than not, turn out to be traps that lure the gullible back into the market just as it's about to turn down again. Bear markets constantly are playing Lucy uh, to investor Charlie Brown, promising not to yank the football away just when you're about to kick it, and then doing exactly that. But Apple and Alphabet are more profitable. President Biden took a swipe. More than got this year, as President Joe Biden said Friday in Los Angeles, but it's far from the most profitable company in the country. Mm. ExxonMobil is expected to generate about $41 billion of net income in 2022, up from $23 billion last year. But Exxon's profits should trail um, well behind Apple, Microsoft, Alphabet, and JP Morgan Chase. Its growth story is over. It seems that another pandemic success story has ended. Shares of DocuSign sank Friday after the electronic signature solutions company cut its fiscal year guidance. Analysts were less than impressed with the outlook from DocuSign. Wabush analyst Daniel Ave said he believes the company's core growth story is essentially over, with the clock striking midnight following a billings guidance drop of $200 million, pointing to uncertain future for the remainder of FY23. Netflix stock, Goldman Sachs sell Netflix stocks. Investment bank evaluation of the internet sector. One that demonstrates just much Wall Street has soared on the streaming giant. The downgrade of Netflix and Roblox will get the attention, as well as should. Netflix, after all, is one of the original fangs, the actor and creative creating Facebook, now Meta platforms, Amazon.com, Netflix, and Google, parent Alphabet Google. Tech takes it. What you should know about high frequency trading. For the average investor, finalizing a decision on stock purchase can take hours, maybe even days. But for high frequency traders, a second can feel like an eternity. High frequency trading involves computer programs placing multiple stock orders in milliseconds. High wire data transmission infrastructure is coupled with sophisticated algorithms to constantly analyze stock markets around the globe. At the moment they determine market conditions are favorable for a particular transaction, trade is triggered. Hmm. Mm. Russia is said to be using more deadly weapons in war. Chief sees bumpy road as ministers work to reach deals. EP interview Sri Lanka PM says he's open to Russia oil. Italy locates 7 budgets. Push gas prices higher. 5 trucking stocks to buy at bargain prices. three upgrades you need to pay attention to. Is this isn't a viable bottom for stock, having buying points to upside for these three stocks. Okay, one by one. Last time we covered now let's go to EPAM systems, okay? The first one that we'll be looking at is EPAM systems. It's one that I invested into last time, and let's see actual price of EPAM systems. I know that it's gotten up by 57% or so, but we'll see. It's been so long since I looked at the chart of EPAM systems last time. Yahoo Finance. Okay, EPAM systems. Okay, let's see. Now it's down by 4% last night, and its price is now 303. Its all-time high was 673. Hmm. Uh, Now I'm going to finish up YouTube live, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Okay. Bye bye, everybody. Bye bye.